Hello, everyone. Brie Sodano here, coming to you live today on Facebook and on YouTube. So, if this is the first time that we're meeting, my name is Brie. I'm a personal finance expert and business consultant. I own the business Sheep to Shark, and I don't know. I do a lot of money stuff. We do a lot of money stuff, all based in like whole human the entire human. So, if this is your first time watching me live, I'm thrilled to have you here. Super excited to teach you something. All right. So, in the presentation that I want to do for you today, is a lot of times clients come see me, especially. So, one of my programs is called Limitless Wealth. It's a year-long mastermind, and typically the reasons that clients are hiring me in Limitless Wealth is they're having success in their business, but it's not like to the level that they want it to. So a lot of times clients are making, their business is okay, the business is doing well, but there's never really enough money to increase their salary. That's like a big reason people will hire me. Or it's like they get to they get to numbers and they're stretched so thin. So maybe and it depends on the type of business. Like, I have one client who's doing 10 million a year, and I have other clients who are doing, 50, 60,000 a year, depending on kind of where they're at in their business is where they, is why they will hire me. And so a lot of times when we get started in our businesses, we just go and we do the thing, right? And there's a thing to do, and then we do it. And once we achieve a certain level of success going from here to there, then it becomes very difficult to get to the next place. There's like a very big shift in thinking. There's a very big shift in the way that we use our time. There's a very big shift in the way that we do a lot of things when we're going from like five figures to six figures, or from like low six figures to multiple six figures. And that's the work that I do with my clients. Oh, I see that we're hopping on. So listen, if you're just hopping on, I would love it if you would say hi to me in the comments. Maybe yeah, let me know that you're here. It's always so nice to see people's little faces when I'm live. Makes me feel good. Also, it boosts it in the algorithm so that way other people get to see it. All right. So there are some very sneaky things that happen between the level of like moderate success to that next level success, right? So a lot of my clients, it's really a process, and Limitless Wealth is a year-long program. And that is because the things that I'm going to talk about, they really take a little bit of time to like get clear and figure out for yourself and stretch that comfort zone, stretch your ability to have money. So one of the sneakiest fears that I see that happens at that stage between that, like, five and low six figure success to like that multiple six figure success, or, six or multiple six figure success. Those One of the biggest fears there is the fear of having more responsibilities. So at the five figure, low six figure level, where a lot of clients are coming to see me, we're stretched thin, right? We're doing all the things, we're taking care of all the things. We know we're the only one that knows how to do all the things. Most of the time people come see me and they have a very small team, or sometimes, no team, sometimes a couple virtual assistants, or something of that nature. But when you're the one that does all of the stuff, the last thing that we need is more responsibility, right? It feels like, oh my God, can I do any more? I already do so much. And so this is where the thinking shift needs to start. So a lot of times when I'm working with clients, one of the places that we start is like, all right, well, the way to increase your income is to look at the tasks that need to be done, the most important things that need to be done every day. And there are some things that a business owner needs to do. Like, business owners need to work on their business. And then there's some tasks that, until your business is fully built out, you're going to have to act as the technician, as we would talk about in the E-Myth, like the person who does the thing, right? So like in my business, I act as a technician when I'm money coaching, when I'm sitting with my clients. That is something that currently I still do in my business. If Sheep to Shark was like a multi-million dollar business with hundreds of employees, I wouldn't that would be a job I probably wouldn't get to do anymore, right? But in the last year we did about a $500,000. This year we're working on doing seven figures. Just so you have some context of like kind of where I'm at in my business journey, you know, just for the sake of the discussion. So we have to think about our time differently, which brings up a whole other set of responsibilities. So a lot of times when I'm working with clients, I'm like, if you want to get from here to here, you can't be doing minimum wage activities anymore. So that means we're going to have to hire people. Now, hiring people comes with a whole lot of responsibilities, and that will freak you out, right? Like, because it's not just the money to pay them, which is there's the responsibilities, the money to pay them. The responsibility becomes having consistent work, because sometimes business slows down or speeds up. Sometimes I really need the help, other times I don't. It's having people count on us for something as important as their livelihood. That freaks a lot of my clients out. We have to work through that. Sometimes it's like the HR and the taxes and all of that like I have not found an effective place to go and learn all of this stuff. Like all of the boring business stuff, like I don't know really a place to go look at it, or to go like take a course or to find out about it, to get advice. So a lot of times you're calling your lawyer, you're talking to your accountant, you're paying these people hundreds of dollars an hour to figure out, like, all right, well, what actually even needs to go into a handbook, an employee handbook, and what do I even need to do to be able to hire people? I'll tell you, I have employees in 3 states, right? I'm in Connecticut, and I have a staff person in Connecticut. I have one in New York, one in Louisiana, and like so I didn't realize that I was going to have to be familiar with 3 different states' employment laws, because there's federal employment laws and then there's state employment laws. It's a lot of responsibility, right? And so if we're not willing to really take on those responsibilities that come with growing the business and come with making more money, we will get plateaued, because there's only so much we can do in a day. So the fear of responsibility, sometimes it shows up. So like one is around taxes and hiring, or just around hiring people. The next thing that kind of freaks people out as they're growing their business is sometimes the idea of having to pay more in taxes is a very big turnoff for people. So I've literally had clients be like, I don't even know that I want to make any more money. I don't want to have to pay more in taxes. And I'm like, legit? That's like not eating because you don't want to take a shit. Like, it doesn't exactly make sense, but a lot of times I think there is like a rumor out there that is probably from somebody who's working overtime. When you do a lot of overtime, what ends up happening is you go up in your tax bracket, so it looks like, it makes your paycheck not look very different, right? And I think that makes that rumor has gotten out into the public, and it stops people from wanting to make more money, because it feels like it just gets taken away in taxes. And while if you just were to work overtime, that is something that is certainly true enough and can certainly feel that way. In entrepreneurship, that's not exactly the case. Like, I'm excited. Like, actually today I was just doing some mindset work on myself. I was just working with myself on some of my stuff. And I was like, I want to get to the place where like I'm excited to write a 6-figure check to the government next year. Like, I want to do that this year. Like, I want to make enough money in 2022 that in 2023, when my taxes come due, I'm writing them a 6-figure check. Like, I want to. Like, I want to do that. And the thing is when you don't want to do that, it jams up the flow, because when we're in our businesses and like you can't get a multi 6-figure 7-figure business without paying taxes. Well, you can, but if you're not profitable, but that defeats the entire purpose. And so a lot of times where responsibility gets a little scary, gets a little jammed up, is like, we love the freedom. We love the freedom of our entrepreneurship. We love the freedom of having our own business. We love all that freedom. And somehow to have to be like next level responsibility can feel like a downgrade in the freedom we've worked so hard to achieve. I mean, that's a very real thing. And so the thing that I noticed about freedom is that freedom there's like two different kinds of steps with freedom. So freedom feels like real, like loosey goosey, expansive, a ton of fun. And then to get to your next level of freedom, you have to cross the version of freedom that is like discipline. That is like, I am free to have a certain level of freedom because I do the work. I'm free to have a certain level of discipline because I show up every day. I'm free to have a certain level of freedom because I make enough money because I do the damn thing. And I do it consistently. And so uh anyways, so sometimes when we're expanding, when we're growing to that next level of ourselves, that next level of our business, that responsibility that comes in with our next level of freedom can freak us out, and it will really jam up the works. It can really jam up the works when it comes to being able to make more money. So we have to get to the place where we look and really see what level of discipline is actually required to get me to my next level, and what level of responsibility is actually required to get me to my next level. And am I willing to do those things? And then once we get to the place where we look at the responsibility and we like look at it head on and we take it on and we kind of are like excited about it the same way we're excited for more money, we find that that like block, that plateau starts to go away. So yeah, so that's one of the things. So the fear of responsibility and that fear of discipline, so again, it's like sometimes it's in our time, and sometimes it's in taxes, and sometimes it's just in like the idea of having to do more customer service or take more clients or do more sales calls, or sometimes the idea of giving responsibility to somebody else even freaks us out worse, right? Like sometimes letting our clients be seen by somebody else is like, oh my God. Right. Like last year I hired a cash flow coach for one of my programs. We had too many clients that I could possibly see all of them. And I'll tell you, I had a tough time. I had a tough time um, letting somebody else take care of my clients. She did a beautiful job. It wasn't even about her. She's wonderful. My clients got wonderful, wonderful results. It was just, I had a hard time being able to hand over that control. And so as we grow and we expand and we take on more responsibility, we get to the place where we can't, with one person cannot hold the entire level of responsibility. So when we start to give out responsibilities that we can't handle anymore, we're simultaneously giving away some of our control. Like, right? Like there's some things you can't have perfect control over while somebody else is doing the things. And if these things freak you out, if this stuff scares you, it shows up in your money. It shows up in your ability to hire. It shows up in like it shows up in a lot of different ways. So when we're like a lot of times, like I kind of joke with my clients, we give them like next level personas, right? So I have one client of mine who kind of came to see me, and we joke that she came in to see me like bake sale, and now she's like private jet. And so it's like private jet. And so with these personas, the stepping into our next level is we start to really get our hands on our responsibilities, and we start to really look at like, where am I freaked out by this? And why this really matters is because when you have subconscious fears and you're not aware of them, it is something that I feel like self-sabotage is really maybe not exactly the best word, but I don't think I have a better word. So sometimes when we're trying to push through doing things that we're actually very freaked out or afraid to do, and we're unaware of that fear, we go about them in ways that are interesting, very interesting, where we start to see some self-sabotage where you're like, huh, that's interesting. That was an interesting way to approach that particular thing. And that's all stuff that I work with my client. I mean, we do a lot of work in Limitless Wealth. It's essentially the entire year is about really stepping into that next level and like really getting, from that 5-figure business or that low 6-figure business, or sometimes it depends on the type of business. I'll tell you, I have some clients whose gross revenue numbers are huge, but we're looking to increase their salary into 6 figures or multiple 6 figures. It depends on and not everybody's business is the same. So it's a lot of times, like when I'm working with clients, we're working on paying ourselves appropriate salaries, really expanding our business's ability to have profit and pay us a salary consistently. That's one of the big things that we work on, like paying ourselves from our business. I'll tell you, there's a lot of businesses out there that look very successful, but the owners the owners working for peanuts, minimum wage. And we want to move out of that, because that state of burnout, it doesn't serve anybody. It really doesn't. It doesn't serve our clients. It doesn't serve our customers. It doesn't serve our family. We certainly aren't serving ourselves. And so, to be able to do that, a lot of times we have to look at our pricing structures and how we leverage our time and what tasks we're doing, what tasks we're not doing in our systems. And there's a lot of really cool nerdy stuff that we do, and we do a lot of mindset work. We do a lot of work to be able to get on board with ourselves. Like right where I was talking about, like if you're not aware of that fear of responsibility, that fear will show up in your money. Like you will feel anxious and bad about taking the actions required to get to that next level. Like you will be like, oh my God, oh, I feel so resistant around this. Right. I'll tell you, like for me personally, I I do have some resistance around like next level responsibilities. And so like a lot of it was HR stuff. Like the idea of like having an HR, I hired a consultant to do our HR book and help us really figure out some policies and procedures. And still like that was it took me so long to get it done, to get it finished. And it wasn't because I didn't have time. It was truly, I mean, I made excuses like I don't have time to look at that. But the truth was like, oh my God, I'm going to be a real business and this freaks me out. And so I would be resistant to it. And so as I learned to love those responsibilities and really relish what I get to have, what I get to be responsible for, um, my income went up and my ability to help clients, like all of it just expanded and grew when I wasn't afraid to hold the responsibility that comes with the bigger business and hold the responsibility that comes with more money. Right? Because as we want more money, as we want a bigger business, the responsibility also grows. So that's generally like we're always excited to get the more money. That's the fun part. But there's also, the more boring side, the more, I mean, like the responsibilities. Like I don't even, that's generally not the most fun part, but that's one of those sneaky things that if you're like, oh, actually, I'm literally afraid to have to pay my people more. I'm literally afraid to make more money because if I do, it means this. I'm literally afraid to have to pay my taxes. If you're afraid of your taxes, you're going to have a real hard time making more money. If you're afraid of hiring people or paying your people more, you're going to have a real hard time making more money. So these are the sort of things that like, these are why clients come see me at that 5-figure and we work and move to that 6 and that multiple 6-figure. Like these are the things that I teach in Limitless Wealth are the mindsets and like the actions that we need to do to be able to expand our ability to hold that next level self, to be that next level self, to hold that next level wealth, and to be able to manage that next level business. So that is my TED Talk for today, everybody. You'll see in the description if this is interesting to you, if you wanted to work with me on your business, if you're in that 5 or low 6-figure mark and you want to go, we want to be making 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, really working on paying yourself, a 6-figure salary, those sort of things. I'd love to talk to you. You can schedule a call. I'll ask you some questions, see if I'm the coach for you, see how I can help. And then if it's a good fit, I'll tell you all the details and kind of go from there. So I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And if you really enjoyed this, if you thought it was beneficial, please feel free to tag a friend that you think might benefit or even share it in their inbox. We have stopped running ads. So shares and stuff are super, super valuable. It means the world to me when people like my content enough to share it and or to send it to a friend to I hope you learned something cool. All right, so I love you, I appreciate you, and I will see you later. Thanks. Bye.